I have a beach house in Florida that I tend to visit with my girlfriend on the colder months up north. In the warmer months, we'd still visit occasionally, but nowhere near as much, since there wasn't as much of a need to. It was early February, freezing up in Connecticut, so my girlfriend and I took a trip down to Florida to visit the beach house. By the time we actually got to the house, after a day and a half's drive, it was starting to get dark out. It was actually a long month and a half since I'd been there the last time. The electricity and water and everything was already on since it was the winter, and I kept everything on during the winter season due to our frequent visits. So all we had to do when we arrived to the house was unpack, take a couple of lounge chairs, and walk 20 seconds onto the beach to take a nap. We didn't even check out any of the other rooms because we were so drained. We lounged down on the beach until it got really dark. I felt my girlfriend's hand on my shoulder. I looked up at her and she asked if I left that light on. I turned to the house and saw one of the upstairs lights on. Not just that, but at one of the windows in that room, there was a shadow outline. I looked at my girlfriend and she looked at me, and I think it sunk into both of us that someone was in that room at that window. I told her to wait there, and I ran up to the house as fast as I could. When I got to the back doors, I started being really quiet. I slid it open and shut quietly. Being that I was barefoot, it made tiptoeing a bit easier. I made it to the stairway and then halfway up the stairs before I heard a door shut upstairs. I went up the remaining stairs a bit quicker now and saw that the door to the room that had the light on was open, but the lights were off now. I kept the lights off though. I just used the flashlight which I had in the shelf ledge upstairs. Then I noticed the closet door. It was shut. That must have been the door I heard closed. I figured I'd shut off the flashlight and tiptoe to the door of the closet, and I slowly put my ear up to it to listen. There was nothing but silence in the room and on the other side of the closet door. I wasn't sure what was going to happen when I opened that door. If someone was in fact on the other side, I had to confront this. I grabbed the two little knobs and finally brought myself to yank the doors open, but it was empty in there, or at least from what I could tell, it was dark. I grabbed my flashlight and switched it on again, and yep, the closet was empty. But a creak in the floorboards outside of the room caught my attention. I ran into the hall expecting to see the intruder, but no, it was just my girlfriend. I got mad at her for coming into the house, even though I told her not to. But now that she was there, I told her to help search the upstairs. We looked around in all 3 bedrooms upstairs, all the closets, and the bathroom, but there was no one. Then we checked the downstairs, every room, every closet, no one. We had to figure out who was in the house and how they managed to escape. So we locked all the doors and looked around the house for any signs of breaking and entering or stolen items, but there was neither of that. So we brushed up and went to bed since we were exhausted. However, that night, before we could fall asleep, there was a click under our bed. I asked my girlfriend if she could hear. She said yes. I got out from under the bed and got down onto my knees. When my face got to the ground level, giving me a view of the underside of the bed, I could see the intruder lying under our bed. I looked at him face to face before he crawled out and made a break for it. I couldn't catch him once he got outside because I was still barefoot. I also didn't get a very good look at his face because we only looked at each other for about a few seconds. We once again searched the whole house to see what he could have stolen, but surprisingly, nothing was stolen. We couldn't even figure out how he had broken in. We didn't call the cops, we simply moved on and did our best to enjoy the rest of our vacation.